Coming up,
the goals that Jim and Jamie chase are for real.
Not only are his claims of feed efficiency extremely accurate, their carcass quality would rank right up there with the top 5% of what we get to feed in a given year.
These cattle are feed efficient. We won't buy another bull unless it comes from Lucky 7.
Lucky 7 Angus is setting new standards in beef cattle feed efficiency. Next on The American Rancher. Hello and welcome to The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick. Years ago, Jim Jensen at Lucky 7 Angus set out to develop feed-efficient beef cattle that thrive in high elevations. Their work, research, and data have resulted in up to 30% increases in documented feed efficiency, along with other emerging benefits that are making ranchers more profitable nationwide. On today's show, we'll meet some of those producers and see how Lucky 7 Angus genetics are setting new standards in the beef cattle industry.
We're at Boulder, Wyoming, about 7,200 feet. This is called the nation's ice box because of the coldest daily temperature in the United States. And you add that along with big pastures that we have. Some pastures don't even have a fence line that probably into the several 100,000, if not millions of acres. Right now we're in some grassy areas, but if you can see, we have a lot of very arid ground where the cattle have to graze pretty fast in order to get something to eat. So just a real tough place to make a living here, and it's really tough on the animals and the ranchers. We're sitting in a valley that's used to be a mainly Hereford valley. Our program was 100% Herefords for years, and probably, well, I was 12 or 13 years old. My dad and I, we went together on a real high-dollar Hereford bull. He was real fat and pretty when we bought him. By that fall, you couldn't tell the bull. He looked like an anorexic milk cow, and he basically ruined every cow that we got. A few years later, I ended up having the opportunity to buy some cows, and a registered set of cows was selling, so I went and bought about 10 or 15 head of those cattle. And before I even had the calves on the ground, people were buying the bull, so that kind of got me into the business. But I go back to my roots of the friends and family and neighbors and all the fellow ranchers around here. I always wanted to make them the most money possible. So going back to the bulls that wouldn't work here, we wanted to make bulls that could work here. So we had to run those bulls in tougher conditions than any commercial cowman would. And that was part of the program that we started here. It worked extremely well. People were they were having a good luck with the bulls. And the bulls were holding up, cattle were holding up better. From there, being above 7,000 feet, we decided that we would go into the pap testing, which would make sense for my high elevation customers and all the friends and neighbors around me. And we got into that, set a lot of benchmarks. We set the first ever standards in the industry for pap testing. And we then went on to become probably the leader in the industry in high elevation and pap testing. Pulmonary arterial pressure testing is pap testing, and at high elevations there's a lot less oxygen in the air. So in order to get all of the oxygen out, it has to push it deeper into the lungs. This can cause thickening of the artery walls coming from the heart into the lungs, which will cause a pressure problem. The heart will have to pump way too hard in order to accomplish this on certain animals and certain genetics. So we're putting a catheter all the way through the heart going to the lungs, and we're taking pressure tests so that we can actually scientifically prove which cattle can make it at that elevation, which ones can't.
There we go. Perfect.
Today we are PAP testing 16 to 18-month-old bulls. We brought them up here to this higher elevation, and they've been here all summer long, so at least 3 months or so, 90 days, which puts the altitude stress on them and makes our test highly accurate at this elevation.
We've noticed as we were chasing the brisket disease and trying to eliminate it that we had a lot less sickness and death loss in our animals. And we also have noticed that there's a lot less of the animals in lower elevation feedlots that are dying due to right heart failure because of the work we've done. From there, we started to work on feed efficiency. The only way you can prove out feed efficiency is to have some sort of scientific data that will absolutely prove how many pounds of a nutrient that these animals eat versus how many pounds they gain or what it takes to maintain. We have proof of that. We purchased a Grow Safe feed efficient system, and we started doing a lot of feed efficiency work with vertical mixers and all sorts of other things trying to create a feed efficient animal. And we did that because if you look at like Kansas State University did a study and they figure at least 70% of your costs of doing business is feed associated costs, either the feed that you're feeding or the equipment and stuff that it takes to feed. It's the low hanging fruit, and it would make the most money for any rancher in the industry, number one. Number two, nobody was doing it, so we hung our hat on that. Where feed efficiencies really helped our operation is the older cows. We know for a fact that we're running 35 to 40% more cows per acre than we used to. Yes, we have created some better management, offset part of that, but they're easily 25 to 30% more efficient. And we thought at that point in time when we reached that goal, we wouldn't be able to take major steps after that. But I can tell you in this pasture right here, we have a bunch of first calf heifers that we stick in some lush conditions and just before we wean them in order to wean the calves off right. These cows usually run 25 to 28 days in these pastures, and we've been doing this for 10 to 12 years. And this year right now we're at 25 to 28 days and we still have 10 days of pasture. So we're pretty conservative in thinking that we're another 10 to 15% more feed efficient just in the last 3 years on these young genetics.
Up next,
not very many people has ever seen animals that can go to the rail at 1,400 pounds at 13 months.
compared to other proteins, the beef industry is decades behind in the development of feed efficiency. But Lucky 7 Angus is already there. Their investments into feed intake research are not just proving out feed efficiency, but showing other economic benefits as well. Find out more after the break here on The American Rancher.
Introducing Vitalix Feedlot Starter Tubs, formulated for beef calves before and after weaning to help decrease pull rates and stress while increasing saliva. Feedlot Starter Tubs contain Diamond V Nature Safe, which supports immune strength, antibiotic stewardship, and gut health. They're also packed with a Veil of 4, a nutrient containing organic zinc, manganese, copper, and cobalt. Vitalix. Stretch your profits with every lick. Visit Vitalix.com to find out more.
The Superior Country page is the leading online marketplace for buying and selling load lots of calves, feeders, and breeding stock. The Country page is an efficient, easy-to-use, and low-cost solution for selling cattle. You set the price and move at your pace with flexible delivery options. The Country page matches the best buyers to the best sellers at the best price for both parties. Call or log on today to find out more about the Superior Country page.
Hi, I'm Bob McLaren with 44 Farms. We have a new program with Walmart called Prime Pursuits, which brings together great Angus producers from around the United States together to provide great beef for the consumer. Producers all around the country. We would love for you to join us in this great pursuit. So please give us a call. We would love to talk to you about the specifics of this great new program. Thank you.
Join Superior Livestock Auction for our monthly Holstein, steer, and dairy-influenced video auction. With the largest number of registered and active buyers in the nation competing for your cattle, sellers enjoy proven price discovery that pays top dollar. Buyers get high volumes and steady supplies of quality cattle. Backed by Superior's trusted experience in national livestock marketing, Superior is your source for dairy-influenced calves. Click SuperiorLivestock.com to find out more.
Welcome back to The American Rancher. Lucky 7 Angus in western Wyoming raises production cattle bred with exceptional feed efficiency. But their scientifically proven feed efficiency created other unexpected but impressive benefits.
One thing that happened when we started the feed efficiency thing is we started having customers come to us and say that they had 75 to 100 pounds heavier calves than they used to have. And that's hard to believe when you're not producing an animal that's a big overgrown performance type animal. We produce mother cows. And so that was one thing that happened. Kind of makes sense that if the cows are more efficient and they don't change their grazing practices, the calves are going to get bigger, and that's all we can attest to it. From there, we decided to go ahead and feed out a lot of our cows. If I'm going to tell everybody I got the most feed efficient cattle in the world, I'm going to have to go out there and do a little more proof other than just what I can do on my ranch. And so we started feeding out a lot of our own animals. And yeah, we definitely hit a home run with the feed efficiency. Which is 10 to 15% higher than the feedlot averages. But the interesting thing is our carcass numbers was off the charts. It is very seldom that we don't have a set of cattle that go 100% choice and better. In the last 2 years, we've had several sets that went up to 59% prime. And so that's an advantage that we never even thought we had. Another thing that happened, we have 2 producers that went all in with our genetics. And these 2 producers in the last 2 years have had animals that weighed 1,400 pounds and were marketed at 13 months, 100% choice and better. This is a huge economic advantage because instead of hitting the June, July, August market, now you're hitting the April, May market, which is about a $220 advantage. Not very many people has ever seen animals that can go to the rail at 1,400 pounds at 13 months, and we weren't even trying to get it. Feed efficiency just give us that advantage. We feed a lot of our cattle at Tiffany Cattle Company in Harrington, Kansas. Deal mostly with Shane Tiffany. Done a great job for us, and we've had some excellent results. When we first got into the feed efficiency part with them, they kind of had a little bit of doubts that maybe it wasn't true.
Being in the custom feedlot business like we are, of course, I get calls on a daily basis that from someone that's pretty proud of their genetics and all the work they've done over the years, and they make some pretty bold claims about, I've got the best this or I've got the best that. And so when Jim and I first talked, and he talked about that his primary focus had been on feed efficiency in his genetic decisions in the past, I was curious to see if he could back that up with real-time data. And what we have seen is exactly that. I mean, to put it in context, I just want to be clear that we do get to feed some of the best cattle in the country. The thing that's been interesting to see over the years, and as more and more data has come in, is that not only are his claims of feed efficiency extremely accurate, but their carcass quality would rank right up there with the top 5% of what we get to feed in a given year too. So.
Had a set of yearling heifers that went to the feedlot, gained 4.8 pounds, 131 days on feed, and graded 100% choice and better. Last year, I fed out our calf-fed steers. We did it at our place at home. We harvested those steer calves, average 13 months of age, 1,400 pounds, again, 100% choice and better.
We run a lot of cattle down in Oklahoma, and we found Bill and Diane Helms of Quality Care Cattle Company. They're pretty close to Nowata, Oklahoma, has done a great job for us and have been a real asset for us to grow these cattle out before we go to the finishing yard.
We've been working for Mr. Jim Jensen for Lucky 7 Angus since about 2015. Our latest set of cattle that we had for him was really a nice set of steers. Those steers were here for about 80 days. They gained 3.49 with cost of gain is $58.77. But the thing that's most amazing about those steers was their dry matter conversion. Those steers converted at 386, which is about 30% better than the traditional commercial calf we see through here. We're really happy if that calf will convert in the 5s, maybe 6s, but Mr. Jensen's cattle are doing this in the high 3s, low 4s. A heifer will even do it in the 4s.
When we first started with this program, we were trying to create animals that were designed for Boulder, Wyoming, one of the toughest places in the world. High elevation, extreme temperatures, extreme tough conditions. A lot of people would call us and say, can those bulls work at my place at a lower elevation in a better condition or a different condition? And I would always say, I don't know that they can. We got to test them first. At this point in time, we've been to a lot of different places, and the cattle are doing extremely well. Just had a guy from Kansas call me up and said it changed his life, that the animals did so well. He said, you can tell people now that they'll work in Kansas, because they do. Right now we send a few bulls to Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Kansas, Nebraska. So we're branching out to several states as the people are finding out that these cattle are not only working here, but they're working everywhere else.
Well, first of all, our breed back rate on all of our cows, it went up because those bulls travel. And yeah, we're in Kansas, but we still have rough country here. And the bulls just have to travel to get cows covered. And we've seen that with the Lucky 7 bulls. And secondly, our weaning weight on our steers went up 150 to 200 pounds across the board. And our heifers have went up 75 to 125
Coming
pounds.
up.
Jim's unique approach of focusing on strictly the efficiency side is going to pay in dividends, and it's a much needed focus for the industry.
The beef industry faces increasing challenges from all sides. Lucky 7 Angus genetics help beef cattle producers rise above those challenges. That story is after the break, here on The American Rancher.
Reproductive success is critical in every profitable cow-calf operation. That's why you need effective, easy breeding with VitaFerm Concept Aid. High concentrations of organic trace minerals and vitamin E found in Concept Aid will ensure more of your cows breed back faster. Plus, you'll be giving your herd the AmaFerm advantage, leading to healthier, heavier, more uniform calves at weaning. VitaFerm Concept Aid. Effective, easy breeding.
Established in 1987, Superior Livestock Auction is the largest cattle marketing network in North America. We sell forward contracted, load lots of ranch fresh cattle on video and internet auctions. Last year, almost 1.4 million head were sold by Superior Livestock Auction, and they brought top dollar. World champion auctioneers present your cattle to buyers across the nation. We have over 8,000 active and qualified buyers, maximizing competitive bidding and true price discovery. Your cattle stay at the ranch until delivery, and your Superior rep writes you a check when it's done. Simple as that. Our job is getting you the best paycheck possible. We know that most producers only get one paycheck a year for their cattle, and more cattlemen and women trust us to get the most out of every sale. Call us at 800-422-2117 or go online to learn more about how Superior Livestock Auction can work for you.
Welcome back to The American Rancher. Lucky 7 Angus develops cattle for feed efficiency and is raising environmentally friendly beef. Their proven feed efficiency, combined with real-world cattle, will help producers rise above the ever-increasing challenges.
We're old-time cattlemen. By no means are we the tree hugger type of people out there. But when we're trying to sell a product in a very competitive protein market, we have to find out what the customer wants. Right now, the customer's trying to talk about environmentally friendly, and that's the catchword. Whether you like it or not, the people that we're selling beef to, the millennials and some of these other people, that's a big issue to them. These millennials are a huge consumer group, and when we get to a point where there's enough cattlemen out there creating these animals that we can market it well, it's going to create a paradigm shift in the industry.
Lucky 7 Angus genetics absolutely get it done at the ranch. They absolutely get it done in the feed yard. They are second to none on the rail. And I think that the feed efficiency that comes forward and the ability to create more output with less input really opens the door to some claims that maybe no one else can make in the seed stock industry or the beef industry for that matter. I think we can start talking about low carbon beef. I think we can start talking about environmentally friendly beef. I think anytime you can produce more output with less input, I think it opens a lot of doors.
Well, I think in agriculture in general, the general trend is we're being asked to do more with less every single year, and that's going to continue to bleed over into the cattle side in an even greater way. getting your cost per gain down as much as you can. And, we've done that in large part over the last 20 years in increasing the growth potential of our cattle and bringing decisions based off of weaning weights and yearling weights and things like that have driven it more from that side. But I think that Jim's unique approach of focusing on strictly the efficiency side is going to pay dividends, and it's a much needed focus for the industry.
We started in this industry because we just wanted to make our customers more money. We wanted to be the guy that kept the neighbor ranch in business, if they're struggling a little bit more, because they could use our bulls, and those bulls are just a little bit better. So when people say that their calves weigh 100 pounds more than they used to, we never expected to ever hear that. That wasn't a goal that we had. When people are starting to say that their cattle are killing it at 1,400 pounds at 13 months, 100% choice and better, we never expected to do that. Yeah, we expected the feed efficiency, and yeah, we expected the performance. The customers started telling us they're running 1,800 cows now, where they used to only run 1,200. When they start their tractor in March instead of December, we never expected to hear any of that. We just tried to make the toughest cow that would make our customers the most amount of money.
We won't buy another bull unless it comes from Lucky 7. And Jim has done a tremendous job to work with myself to get them to me, and they are exactly as advertised, every one of them. The bulls have great dispositions. You can handle them horseback. You can handle them afoot. It's a tremendous, tremendous investment on our part as a rancher.
The first sale Jim ever had, we bought one and brought him home, and it's pretty tough conditions, and he thrived, did a good job. So we went back and bought more. Jim Jensen's honest. If he tells you something, that's the way it is.
I was a healthy skeptic to the feed efficiency claims of Lucky 7 when I first met Jim and Jamie. Through the years of buying and using their bulls, I can tell you that the integrity, honesty, the data, the science, the goals that Jim and Jamie chase are for real. These genetics seem to get it done at our house.
And he truly cares about the people that buy his bulls and making advances in the industry. Pap testing is a huge one. Where we are, we've got to have it. We're high country. Another thing that Jim does that nobody else does is that 4-year guarantee. That's huge.
And I've had people tell me that he can't stand behind a 4-year guarantee, and I said he does. I've used it a couple times, and with the price of bulls and the price of calves, you want to be able to keep your money together on these bulls, and that helps.
Customer service is A1. I've had a couple times when I was short of bulls come summer and called Jim up, and he'd find a bull for me. So he'd either meet me somewhere or I'd come get him or something. Where we winter, it's not nice country. We're sitting about 7,200 feet. The wind blows 50 miles an hour or more all winter long. It's nasty, rough country. And our running age cows, they graze out on standing forage. And those girls, they do an amazing job. And the biggest part of that is the bull program that we use behind that.
I've been retaining my heifers, I think 5 years now. And my heifers' calves weigh within 20 pounds of my cows. And that's steer calves and heifer calves both. I've put probably 50 to 70 pounds on my calves since I started using Jim's bulls. He'll stand behind his guarantee, and you're going to buy quality bulls no matter if you buy at the first of the sale or the last of the sale. It's going to be, there's good bulls no matter what your price range.
These cattle are truly environmentally friendly. We have created some of the most feed-efficient animals that have ever been raised, and i.e. these cattle are going to create less greenhouse emissions. They're going to put less carbon footprint out there in the environment. These cattle are going to produce more pounds of beef per less pounds of grass or nutrition. These cattle are raised in a way that makes them tougher, so they're going to have less health and sickness issues. I invite anybody to come out to our ranch anytime you want and look at the animals. They'll be available. Our sales the first Saturday in March, the Riverton Livestock Auction, Riverton, Wyoming. You can come down there. If nothing else, just drink a cup of coffee. We'd love to visit with you. But just come see what these cattle look like and what they can do.
Don't miss your opportunity to put Lucky 7 feed-efficient genetics in your pasture. Lucky 7 Angus is on the forefront of raising cattle that will be branded environmentally friendly beef. The Lucky 7 Angus Bull Sale is on the first Saturday of March in Riverton, Wyoming. To find out more, visit lucky7angus.com. That's all the time we have today. To find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or connect with us on Facebook. I'm Pam Minnick. For the entire American Rancher team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Superior.
This is Hard Brand Cattle. Family owned, family run, prime focused, and home to the largest and best source for Akaushi genetics in the world. U.S. commercial cattlemen are buying our bulls because they work. If you raise Akaushi cattle, we have a buyback program. Our cattle grade 45% USDA prime, less than 2% select, averaging a 2.8 yield grade. It's time you earn premiums over commodity prices. Akaushi provides beef customers with the best beef eating experience. Visit us at hardbrandcattle.com.